What have you always wanted to know about Boise State Public Radio? Join us for another round Wednesday, March 19th at Mad Swede Brew Hall in downtown Boise from 6 to 8 p.m. Learn more about our operations, news content, and our service mission. We welcome your questions and look forward to sharing more about what we do here at Boise State Public Radio. More details can be found on our website at boisestatepublicradio.org.
And more Idaho Matters now from the studios of Boise State Public Radio News. I'm Gemma Gaudette. Preservation Idaho is dedicated to saving our past, everything from buildings to neighborhoods. And now they're going to start using very futuristic technology to do it. This nonprofit picked up a grant from the National Trust for Historic Preservation to use cutting-edge technology to build interactive story maps to make Idaho's history more accessible and to reach new audiences for their research. So here to tell us more about this is Brittany Sigliano. She is Preservation Idaho Board President, and Janelle Dean, founder of Desert Creative Group. I want to welcome both of you to the show.
Gemma, thanks for having us back.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Brittany, always good to have you here. Can you remind us, for folks who aren't familiar, what is Preservation Idaho and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are a statewide nonprofit, 501c3. We don't receive any state, federal, local funding. We rely on memberships and grants, as you mentioned earlier. And we are dedicated to preserving Idaho's built environment, primarily buildings that are important to Idahoans, whether they tell a story culturally, through our history, and we do that through education, collaboration, and advocacy.
And tell us about the grant, Brittany, and where it came from exactly. I mean, I gave the name, but how it worked out.
Yeah, sure. So this is a really exciting grant for us that actually, with Janelle's help, we received $5,000 from the National Trust. And the grant really is to help us step into the future. You know, just because we work in preservation doesn't mean that we have to stay in the past. We want to bring preservation forward. And with the help of Janelle and Desert Creative, they have actually are doing an in-kind $5,000 match to help us get this up and running. And, you know, whether you're in Kootenai County, Teton County, Camas County, or Ada County, there are preservation efforts going on throughout the state, and we want to highlight what those preservation efforts are, so that people throughout the state can see what's going on in a county outside of yours or in a county that's inside of yours.
So, Janelle, tell us about your group, Desert Creative, and what you do, and how you're helping Preservation Idaho with this latest project.
Yeah, absolutely. So Desert Creative Group, we like to refer to it as a creative problem-solving agency. We do a lot of consulting for growth and sustainable profit over time, as well as we have a full marketing agency. But we're also an Esri business partner, and we like to work with businesses and nonprofits for data-driven insights. And some of that is location-based insights, and some of it is just data that's being able to visualize it in different meaningful ways. And so when we started the partnership with Preservation Idaho, we really started thinking about how can we help leverage data to further Preservation Idaho's mission. And through that, it could be tracking donor data. It could be tracking at-risk or threatened or saved properties, and having historical documentation over those processes and where they are, all the way through really fun public outreach engagement on building really interactive elements that showcase areas of neighborhoods and things like that around.
So with that said, Brittany, talk to us about kind of how this works, because I'm looking at one of the story maps from last year's Heritage Home Tour, and this is super cool because you can actually swipe back and forth to see what some of those homes looked like in the past. So is this kind of how this interactive map will work in other parts of the state as well when you're looking at these historic places?
It is, absolutely. You know, as we're getting this up and running, we are kind of focusing on some of the activities and events that we have done here in Ada County. And as we grow this program, we will be doing very similar things in other counties throughout the state. But it gives people an opportunity to see some of these historic places that they may not get to see otherwise with the click of a button, simply going to our website and seeing the possibilities, and hopefully will inspire, teachers, students, community members to say, hey, we want something like this in our community, and how can we get it listed? One of the things that we're really excited about, every year we do our ARC walks, and those are one time only. We only do them; they're never repeated. We are lucky to have a handful of docents that put these very specialized tours together. And when they're done, they're gone. We don't ever bring them back. And so being able to have a story map of those and show some of that tour really helps capture that history in a digital platform for us, and is an opportunity for us to share it with a broader audience and then kind of have it in perpetuity so that it's never forgotten.
I have about 1 minute left. I mean, and I love your thoughts on this, Brittany. Do you think that this project will make history just more accessible for everyone?
It will, and that's the goal behind this. We're preservationists, and with the help of Janelle and her team, this really helps bring it into the future. Again, just because we are preservation minded doesn't mean we can't be forward thinking and making preservation and history accessible to as many people as possible. Community members, state leaders, teachers, students, really anywhere. We have the opportunity to go global, but we'll start small and keep it in the state.
Well, I so appreciate you always coming on and talking more about Preservation Idaho. We've been speaking with Brittany Sigliano, Preservation Idaho Board President, as well as Janelle Dean, founder of District Creative Group, talking about Preservation Idaho's new Virtual Heritage Idaho project. And that'll do it for this episode of Idaho Matters. Thanks so much for listening. And just a reminder, you can find all of our episodes wherever you get your podcasts.